Hey guys, Mike here. So definitely another volatile day, that is for sure. Had some big moves down, some big moves up. So it was all over the place, and everything is just setting up for tomorrow and the rest of this week. Because now we get into red folder news every day, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And the big one, which I'll just start off right here, right out of the gate, so it'll be a shorter video than usual, is going to be CPI. Obviously, it will be before market opens, month over month, year over year on core. Obviously, headline as well. Remember, the Fed cares about core more than anything else. And so you can see they're actually expecting an increase in year over year inflation rate, but a decrease in the month over month. And so that's going to be something to watch out for. That will not be the only thing. Tomorrow's kind of a loaded day. You'll end up having a 10-year note auction at 1, which probably cause some kind of volatility in the yields. And then the FOMC minutes. Okay, and that's from the last meeting. Now, the big question is, does the market even care? Why do we say this? Here's what the forecasts are. You can see Bank of America's got the lowest at 3.3, core 3.7, everybody else 3.4, and then 3.7, 3.8 on core. I asked that why do they care? It's because some of the members and I were talking about this. Just look, they missed the last 3 times, January, February, and March. Guess where the S&P is? It's up 12%. Okay, the market did not care at all. All right, it kept pricing in rate cuts. And so, you look at that, and then look at the forecast, 3.4. That's the highest we've probably ever seen as far as like going back 6-7 months right there, as you can see. And so it's like the bar is pretty low, right? And the last one 3.2. So if it comes up, 3.4, 3.3, guess what? Market's loving life, right? This is core, okay? Month over month right here, you can see, it missed February, it missed March. I mean, again, it's the same projection it has been, 0.3, previous 0.4. And so, again, I got to come out and say, I think the bar is low, right? You come out here and you look in year over year, again, it missed January, February, March, right? And the market's like, whatever, it's all good, and it's all about this right here, right? This is June's rate cuts. Now, remember, it was supposed to be in March. We get rate cuts in March. Now we're pushing them to June.
Listen, man, I just need some liquidity. You know what I'm saying?
And this has gone up over the last couple of days. There's now there's a 56% chance. You look at July, right? Definitely say there's going to be a rate cut for sure. All these are going up. And so this is what it's all about. So if it comes in hot again, maybe we see a sell-off in the morning or whatever it is. But it's like, will the market actually finally care, right? Will it finally say, oh, wait a minute, maybe? And before we continue, guys, please hit that thumbs up and think by hitting the subscribe button if you like this kind of content. Do daily updates and Saturday videos answering any questions you have. Appreciate your support. The Fed's not going to cut, right? Maybe this isn't going to happen if we get another hot inflation reading. I think a lot of people, what they're doing is they're looking at commodities, like I put in the morning news brief. It was all about gold and oil and what was other than copper. Like all these commodities are going up, right? And doing these breakouts and everything else and stuff. But I don't think you feel that for a while, right? It takes a while to kind of get through the cycle. We know gas prices are up. That's a fact. I told you to get ready to pay for more at the pump. Comes at a great time too, right? When school's going to be out in like 6 to 7 weeks and everybody's traveling, that would be really nice to have higher gas prices in the summertime. But, if that happens, but I think that takes time to feed through, and it's all about how they calculate the inflation data. This data point drops off, and then this is how they got from the housing data and all this crazy mess. And so, we'll see how the market's going to react. Let me know your predictions in the bottom. Are we coming in over, as, or under, right? And more importantly, how is the market going to perceive it? Okay, that's really what we're looking at right here. Now, I'm not going to waste your time with a bunch of charts because all this is going to change tomorrow, but I'll say this right here. There were definitely some stocks out there that were, caught a lot of people's attention today. And one was NVDA when we went through the sell-off, right? When we had a big move down, this one finally, it's been a long time, it broke market structure, right? Had a big move down right here. Bottomed out around 833 right there for the price, and then kept moving up for the rest of the day. Should have known it, right? You look over here to the left. I mean, there's basically where it hit right there. It was like a double bottom on that price right there. That's where it found support, started moving back up. Again, you saw, calls start rolling in. Here comes the people flooding in, the dip buyers coming into NVIDIA. But you've seen it when you look to the right. You've seen this before. The push down, dip buyers come in, it falls more the next day. Dip buyers come in, it falls more the next day, right? That is a high. That is a lower high. That is a lower high. That is a lower high. Right, so on these short-term time frames, you're seeing that. And so, when we look at this, I'm going to take that trend line away because it was useless. But again, it got below the weekly expected move. It closed above the weekly expected move. Once again, we saw the same thing last week. And when you look at it on a shorter term time frame, what is it in? It's a downward trending channel right now. Again, tomorrow, the next day, all this red folder news could change the whole thing, right? And so that's what we got to see. Now, if we do get hot inflation data, maybe you get to see it finally fill this gap right here at 825, right? 824.55 to be exact. And so that would be an interesting one to look for, at least the price that is. And if you look at confluence here, it would fill a gap, come into support. If we pull up the moving averages, you also got your 50 moving average sitting right there. So that would be pretty nice, right? I think a lot of people would like that. No doubt, I think a lot of buyers would come in at that level. Now, you might think semiconductors were horrible today. That's actually just not true. When you actually look, there were quite a few that was actually green, right? I mean, SOX was green, Taiwan Semiconductors, Marvel up percent, OHM's up 2.5%, Qualcomm was up. It's really just MU, which has been running like crazy. AMD, of course, has been under pressure, and then NVDA. So it really wasn't a bad day for semiconductors, right? Tesla, this is another one. It was hot today. I mean, I thought it was going to be another 5% day until we had that sell-off, but it held up. It was green the entire day. Broke above that trend line, came back down, retested that trend line, and the reason why, now you're starting to see it, right? And this is what you got to look for in Tesla. Remember, I told you this. The bullish flow. You see the calls rolling in. It was the most bullish flow of options today by a country mile. Wasn't even close to anything else. And so that's when you'll see Tesla just, you ever notice it just walks its way up? That's when you know those calls are coming in. And it even overcame Goldman Sachs, right? Who, end up saying, well, we'll remain neutral and cut our price target from 190 to 175. Even though Morgan Stanley said, we'll trump that, our target's 310. All right. And so they maintain that 310. And when you look at it, one of the levels to watch, if this continues to push up, as you got that triple bottom, double bottom, whatever you want to call it, look around like 184-ish right there. That'll be the top of this channel. That's basically this range it's been stuck in, but also there's a gap right there, right above that. It goes around 186. So watch that for Tesla. And again, this has been a beaten down one. It's this the worst of, if you want to even call it a Mag 7 anymore. Another one, which one of our members, a couple of our members always talk about, and this one I know a lot of people are in, is PANW, right? Palo Alto. And it was a good day for it, right? I always say, look at stocks when the market's not doing maybe great or whatever, and a lot of stocks are red. Look at what other stocks are green. And this one right here obviously was getting above this trend line, which is key. That trend line is what saved it when it fell off earnings right there. And everybody thought it was saved, and boom, it ended up crashing back down. Almost a double bottom there. When you look at it, it closed above that trend line today. And when you come over, again, I'll bring up all the moving averages. One important thing it did also got above the 200 moving average, okay? Now, all those other moving averages will definitely be resistance when you start to move up there, but it also not only got above the 200 and closed above the 200, the trend line, it closed that gap right there that it left just, I think it was last week, as a matter of fact. And so, again, the 200 is where it bounced the first time. Not only so it had that confluence of the trend line, also the 200 moving average, and so now you got both those things, so that's not a bearish thing at all. And I can tell you right now, we'll see if this thing continues after it closes that gap. But the reason why a lot of people are in calls or going in this thing is they're betting on the greatest trader on the planet, Nancy Pelosi and her husband. They have over $1 million worth of call options, I believe it is. And so this is why, believe it or not, a lot of people in this. Now, obviously, this is one of those cybersecurity stocks. It's a global cybersecurity stock that has been hot, but is all of them, even CrowdStrike, has been under pressure over the last few weeks. So again, that's another reason people love this stock. I'm just putting it on your radar. Now, looking at earnings, the only thing I have to worry about in the morning, of course, is CPI, but is Delta. And then, of course, we'll end up with a few others. But Friday is the big day that will kick off the banks and stuff. But even before that, you'll have plenty of red folder news coming out Thursday and Friday as well. So again, this is going to be a super volatile day. And the real question is, do we finally start a swing down? Because if you look at the cues again, what is it? It's just basically going sideways. All right, a lot of things have just been sitting there. It's either accumulation or distribution. You don't know until it takes a direction, right? But that's basically where we kind of been in this holding pattern going, what's going to happen with rate cuts? Oh, and it's really a lot to do with CPI, right? That's what you heard a lot of the Fed presidents talk about. Some of them saying, man, I think we've kind of stagnated and we're not going down anymore. And we talked about this months ago. As these numbers get lower and lower, it's going to be much harder to hit them because it's going to be doing this right here. It's not just going to be going straight down. It's easy to come down from 9, right? That's a big number. Once you get below 4, especially 3-ish in there, it's really tough, right? And so the question is, does the Fed care, right? Is this something they're going to be looking at? Because again, I think you hear Jerome Powell a couple of times said, it's like, we kind of expected this in January, February, and so we'll see how March turns out. But we'll see if they keep trending in the right direction. That's what they're going to be looking at. You hear some people talking about rate hikes. I'm sitting there going, really? I mean, be honest. Even if we needed rate hikes to really start cooling inflation, I'll say it did start going back up. I don't know, man. Do you really think this Fed has the guts to do rate hikes right now, even in the next few months, if we needed them, right? Man, I mean, they were hesitant to raise in the first place, right? And so, we'll see. But again, we'll see how the data goes. Anyway, put your comments in the bottom, your predictions and stuff like that, and where it's going to go, and we'll see what happens. So please hit that like and subscribe button on the way out. And I'll be here tomorrow to give you all of it, and we'll see if we went up or down by a lot, because it's going to be a big move, I think, either way. So anyway, hope you guys got something out of it, and I'll see you tomorrow.